hello. It's me. And it's kind of hot, but it's still a little bit cold. But it's not cold enough to be wearing all this. And I just want to do it. I want to wear this. Because very soon it's going to be very hot and I'm going to be very sad. And I like clothes. I like clothes on my body. Is that weird? I guess some people, they love shorts and shirts. I love jeans and clothes that cover every inch. If I'd have this, I'd have it like this. Have just my eyes. And I guess I'd be a lady in some countries. I'm still trying to figure out my voice here, when I do these things. And in the past, if I get too close and I whisper too softly, I have to up the gain or whatever it's called when I bring the audio into there's a free program called Audacity that I use. And when I do that, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I just up it because otherwise you can't hear me if I talk too softly. If I talk too softly, you don't hear it. So I don't know what I'm doing. The other thing that's weird, I usually don't do a beard. But every once in a while, I just decide to let it grow and see how long I can put up with it. I don't know why. Those are the things that I do. Because even right now, it's hot. I'm hot. I'm like, why did I decide to do this? But I decided to do it. And I'm sticking with it. Because I'm stupid. Because that's what stupid people do. Someone wrote on my last video a comment about OCD, and I was thinking about that. Apparently the difference between OCD and OCPD, from what I know, from what I remember, is that OCPD, when you have obsessive thoughts and compulsions, the OCPD is when they are egosyntonic. Egosyntonic would be things that align with your ego. And OCD would be ego-dystonic, things that do not align with your ego. So things that you would not like. I've had not great thoughts in the past. And, but they were, like, let's say, sorry to get into a heavy topic, like suicidal ideation, right? In a way, I didn't want the thoughts, but in a way they were what I was dealing with and what I was going through, right? And, so even then, I don't think that I'd categorize any issues that I have as OCD. All of the issues that I have with regards to what I think obsessive and compulsive thoughts and actions, the difficult thing for me is that it feels right to do it, but at the same time, I know that it gets in the way of what I'm doing, and I know that it's not even probably very helpful. So, like last time, on the last episode of me talking, I was talking about going to the movie theater and feeling the need to look at the prices and being very miserly and being But just having to look at the menus and stuff like that, whether it's at a movie theater or a coffee shop. And there's like some weird perfectionism there, but there's also like a weird grounding, because I do get sensory overwhelmed everywhere that I go and everything that I do. And so I like need moments to get myself grounded, I guess, if that makes sense. What else about OCPD? OCPD. OCPD. I think I developed like OCPD, like habits and traits and ways of being out of a fear of being, well, out of maybe the fact that I have so much like ADHD and my brain is all over the place, and maybe the autism as well. It's just, something that I was thinking about last week. I have this like an annoyance with all of these things, with all of these little labels. A part of me really doesn't want to have to deal with labels anymore. And yet, at the same time, it's helpful, right? To be like, oh, I have this issue that I've heard about other people having the same issue and stuff. But it feels like there's so many issues and so many categories, and I've been placed in so many categories, and now and throughout my life I've placed myself into categories, and I'm tired of it. But at the same time, I don't know any other way to do it, to do life, because I have so many problems. I'm amazed by the people that don't have like real problems, like we're, mental and emotional. They just exist in the world and they're okay. How is that? How is that for real? How do they do that? You just exist in the world and you're just fine? That's gotta be nice. It's gotta be wonderful. Meanwhile, I can't go to a movie theater without having issues. I probably would be gainfully employed. I'm employed, but it's not gainful. So I was thinking about the OCPD, about those traits. I think because of my ADHD, I get really blank really easily, right? Let me get Kirby up a little bit. Here, peeking out. Hey, Kirby. So because of my ADHD, my foggy brain, my autism, my sensory overwhelm, which causes me to look very blank, very, very dumb. I have this like a trigger. I have this desire to not show that to other people. So when I'm in the world, I do everything I can to be prepared. And so, one thing that I do when I get out of my car is sort of like building systems. I've learned a long time ago that I have to build systems, and the systems will keep me safe. And the crazy thing is, not crazy, but the thing is, it does keep me safe. When I get out of my car and I lock the door, I hold my keys or key in my right or left, whichever. So So I'll hold my key in my right hand, lock the door, shut the door. Then I can put the key in my pocket. Because I'm afraid that I'm going to lock myself out of my car. And you know what? That works. That works. And the problem with OCPD is that these things work. The problem with OCPD, when I go to a movie theater or a coffee shop, going and looking at the menu and reminding myself, because that's partially why I do it. I'm afraid that if they ask me and I'm not prepared for what I'm going to order, my mind will go completely blank. And I'll be like, where am I? What am I doing? What was I going to order? And the thing is that the moment when my mother and myself went to the movie theater, and she, quickly went up to the place, and I had to all of a sudden remember what I was doing, I did forget. So a part of me is like, well, if I just put my key in my car, or key in my pocket before I shut the door, it's not that big of a deal. But then again, what if I don't? That's one of the things, OCD, is what I remember when I used to, it's like even the issues that I don't have, I feel like I have to research. And I really deep dive into crazy. I want to know all the ways that people can go cuckoo. I hope that's not offensive. After I say it. It's sort of like when you hear about old mental health problems. There's some specific mental health disorders that are more culturally defined. So 150 years ago or whatever it was, when glass was new, 200, 500, I don't know. Glass was new, and all of a sudden the rich could afford glass. And then all of a sudden, there were people that were there was a specific disorder that was basically the women, usually women thought that they were going to become glass and that they would break easily. So it's like a form of psychosis or something. And then there are places in the world where they think that parts of their body, male parts, will shrink and disappear. And they're specifically geographically located where these thoughts and ideas and things develop and stick around and stuff. Fun facts. I have the need to try and still somewhat figure myself out, even though I think a lot of previous problems of mine where I still want to overanalyze myself. And now that I say it out loud, I think, is it overanalyzing? Is it overanalyzing? It's until I got to this recent, the ADHD, autism, and I learned more about that, and I heard way more people talking about their experiences. And I started to really think about what was going on in the brain and why I would be different, and the sensory overwhelm, the information overwhelm. That clears up so much of myself to the point where I'm thinking, if I didn't have that self-knowledge, it would kind of drive me, it wouldn't drive me crazy, it was like this nagging thing of why am I different? What's going on? And until I could figure out the reason. And part of it as well was anytime I met someone, and I don't have the answer for what to do now, but in the past, anytime I met someone, I felt like I had to explain like myself, why I acted different, why things were hard, why I needed to do things in a specific way or a different way. And it's so now I know. And in the past I'd be like, oh, I have social anxiety, oh, I'm shy or nervous or depressed, or well, I would say certain things. I don't know now. Would I tell people that I'm ADHD, autistic? Would they even know? Average people don't know what that means. They don't know how it affects you. They don't expect that it really means anything. Especially if you just kind of look and act relatively normal. They're like, you can speak, therefore you can smile when you want to and not. But then again, like when I'm actually interacting with someone in real life, I very often am pretty blank, and I have a resting sad person face. So people often think that I'm sad. So it's a difficult thing where for a long time I thought, if I got the knowledge, if I got self-knowledge, well, then I would know how to fix myself. I would know what to do next, or, so what's the next step? And I thought, if I got self-knowledge and I could start to help myself fix myself, that I'd also have an explanation for people or something like that. But they kind of need to know things in order to explain things to them, right? Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. I think it does. The bad thing about it getting hotter again, to go back to that, is that there will be a constant hum of the air conditioning, and it will drive me insane. And it'll also suck for the few times that I do make these videos. There'll be that hum. Right now it's so silent, very nice. So when I do Uber Eats, new topic. When I do Uber Eats, here's another OCPD thing that I have. For instance, when I do Uber Eats, so much of the job is just driving around with nothing to do. I mean, technically you're delivering something, so you're doing something, but it feels very much like you're doing nothing. And especially when I'm driving to or from the area, because I can't really do it in my area, so I have to drive about, 20 miles? 20 miles to get to where it would be good to do it. And when I'm doing the driving, there's a part of me going, I'm just wasting my life. I'm wasting time. And I'm not being productive. The crazy thing is, like a lot of people, I get myself lost. Just YouTube, TikTok, just Reddit, just reading comments and absorbing everybody's content, and yet when I'm finally out there doing something that will eventually make money, I'm like obsessed about being productive. I'm like, I'm not being productive right now. Because basically I've always been in a very existential mood. I don't know how other people, I don't think that they think about it as much as I have. Because for me in the past, it's like not a day, not a week goes by where I'm just like kind of okay with just doing whatever I'm doing. Instead, I'm always like, okay, so I'm doing this, but what is this for? How do I get to the next thing? What is the next thing? Let me figure out the next thing. Is the next thing figuring out what's wrong with me and then getting better or doing something better? Is the next thing making money? Is the next thing making money and then making the money make more money and do more things? And I have no idea. I don't know what the next thing is, or I don't know what the point of existing is. And I think that I have one thing that's very difficult. One thing that's very difficult for me that I lost, I think, a long time ago was like excitement. Like, I think the last time I felt a little bit of excitement, I mean, I'm sure this is probably incorrect, but I'm sure I've felt it since then. But it's always like barely there. But it was like that one Avengers movie where Thanos was like, it was that one where he's the end. And so I was like, ooh, this is going to be exciting. And I'm sure I've felt it since then. But not really. Not as much as, when you're like a little kid. When I was a little kid, there were things like get excited about. And it doesn't really happen anymore. It's just very dull. That's a sad thing to say. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just feeling different. Maybe I'm feeling bad today. And I actually feel very excited about a lot of things and a lot of different times. Maybe. Probably not. Okay. All right. I'm just going on. That's it. That's all. I'll have to think of some more things that I can rant about and maybe journal about, or video journal about, because this is one of the things that I can probably continue to do. I think my other attempts at doing YouTube, I think I need to make it as simple as I can make it, so that I can, it's one of those, because as much as I say that I don't, that I wanted to get to something, or I want, I do know I have within me, for some reason, a desire to do this, to put myself out there, and to keep doing this for however long I decide to keep doing it. It's sort of like how I used to think about, for a while I stopped drawing in my sketchbooks. I just said, you know what, I'm not getting anywhere with this. Why am I doing this? It's not productive. I'm not going to make money doodling. So what's the purpose? And it was almost like I was really sad about it, because like I didn't want to make money making art. But it was like the only thing that I felt like I had to offer the world. And so I felt like I needed to be an artist. That was the thing that would make me special or something. And then the fact that I knew that, like, I really wasn't even as good as I should have been at that point in my life if I really wanted to, if I wanted to be thought of as cool, or I don't know, whatever I wanted. And so I eventually just said, you know what, screw it. I'm done. I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to make. Also, I was just always depressed. Anytime I would try and draw, then I'd look at what I did, and then I'd go, this is not good enough. And it wasn't. That's the truth. It wasn't good enough. You know, there's a part of me that really wanted to be an artist that people knew and cared about, and they liked my stuff, and like it was like high quality stuff, and somehow from that I was going to get money, and then from that I was going to get fame, and then from that I was going to get women, and or at least one. That's all I'm asking for. Or somehow I was going to be a good artist, and then the girl. I didn't really know if I cared about the money or the fame. I was just in a desperate attempt to figure out, how do I prove myself worthy of, I don't know, someone else. It amazes me that some people literally don't ever have to think about that. Like, they don't think, how can I be worthy of someone else liking me? And, or getting whatever it is. They just assume. They're like, yeah, I'm worthy. It's crazy. So I stopped doing it. I stopped doodling and drawing in my sketchbook, and stopped making art completely. But every few months, it would like nag at me. And every once in a while I would see something, or I would, whether it's online or in the world, or I'd watch a movie, and like, art in general has always been something that so human creativity in general is something that's always like drawn me. And so I'd feel guilty that I stopped. I stopped doodling. I stopped drawing. Even if my doodles were just doodles, I felt guilty that I wasn't doing it more. And so eventually I just shrugged my shoulders and went, okay, F it. I'll buy a sketchbook, and then I'll start doing it again. And I did feel better. But then, of course, the reoccurring thoughts of like, what's the purpose of doing this even? Because, again, at that point in time, I didn't even show people. And so basically, all that came from this. Like, I didn't upload a video. I think the last time I did was like December, and then I just did a couple weeks ago. So a few months went by, and when I wasn't doing it, when I'm not posting to TikTok, when I'm not posting to YouTube, when I'm not doing these different things, there's this reoccurring thought of like weird guilt. And I guess what it is like a feeling like I'm letting myself down, or I'm not doing the thing that I'm supposed to do, even though I don't know why I'm supposed to do this. So maybe at some point everything will come clear, or maybe there is no point and I'm just doing this because this is what I'm doing. It's sort of like my sister she goes into her backyard and she's got a garden. She's growing all these different fruits and vegetables, and I don't think she ever asks. I don't think she goes, what am I doing this for? Because honestly, she doesn't really care about the vegetables. She doesn't care about eating them. She will eat them, but that's not why she's doing it. She just wants to see something grow. And she's not selling the vegetables. Me, I'd be like, I've got to make a YouTube channel about this. I've got to sell these vegetables. I've got to sell these fruits. I've got to be productive about this. I have to take pictures and post it to Instagram. I don't know. I would figure something out that would cause me to hate everything that I was doing. Or cause me feeling like there needs to be a purpose. Like, you could just watch something grow. There doesn't have to be a purpose. You can just doodle. It doesn't have to be a purpose. And you don't have to do it so you can prove that you're a good person and that you deserve people to like you or whatever. You know what I mean? You've got yourself to a place where you're special, and people will like you if you're special. You know? All right. For real though, this time, super going. I'm leaving. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I love you. Not really, but maybe a little bit. Not at all.